hippiechick.tv. It is at 9 p.m. East Coast time in the United States on this 21st day of June. Get ready to have some fun. We have a returning guest we haven't seen in some while, and she's got a report to tell you. What on earth just happened? What happened? Hey, we're going to switch down to studio. Did I mess that up? Did my mouse click itself? It must have. Good evening. This is pjnet.tv. I'm Coach Prasick, and we're just going to have a good time. Which, when you think NOLA, New Orleans, Louisiana, well, good times just come to mind, and nobody better to have to bring us good times. Mary Jo Realy. Molly Jo Realy has a reputation for being called by other names, and I can't help but, now I did that on purpose, but you were recently at the Blue Ridge, I gotta say this right, Blue Ridge Mountain Christian Writers Conference.
Yes.
Okay, that's like rubbing your head and patting your tummy. You know?
Yes, it is.
And your name was spoken from the stage by a keynote speaker. You are famous, girl. Well, wait a minute, but it wasn't your name.
It was not, and Steve Lobby ruined my branding.
He did it on purpose, right?
No, it actually was a flub up on his end, and he said as soon as he referenced that somebody had asked him a question earlier in the week that he thought was a very interesting question. I'd asked him what was his favorite conference moment of all time. He's been doing conferences for 45 some years or in the industry. And he couldn't come up with just one conference moment, of course. But he thought the question was really interesting. It got him thinking about what makes a good conference moment, something memorable. And he said, yeah, I was asked this question by Mary Jo. And I saw the look on his face as soon as he said it. He knew that he messed up. And people next to me were whispering, saying, her name is Molly. That's not her name. And Steve and I and my friend Heather, we have a really good relationship, the three of us, where we just kind of harass each other and tease each other a lot. And so without realizing that I was doing this in front of 600 people, I just raised my hand and shout really loud, "Excuse me, sir, that is not my name. And after 8 years, you should know this by now." So
you're on what, row 2, heckling the keynote speaker?
Yeah. Actually, it was the very front row, and he said, "You're right." Well, earlier in the week, he had started teasing my friend Heather and calling her Hannah, and then he started calling me Bill. And so then at the keynote speech, when I correct him, he goes, "Oh, you're right, Heather. No, I mean Hannah." And so everybody's laughing. Nobody knows who's who, except that for the rest of the week, I definitely wasn't Molly, and she definitely wasn't Heather.
So what was his most memorable conference moment?
The same as what Heather and I had talked about, what we have. It's not just one moment. It's all those little God moments when you're with other people and you see that light go on, when you're there to minister to other people. And it could be something where they realize something about their writing for God, or it could be a personal relationship with God, but just something that has a God moment attached to it, that they either realize it or they're experiencing it for the first time right in front of you, or they tell you about it. And there's so much spirituality that goes into Christian writing conferences and the Christian writing industry, that for people to accept that and to see that, it's just an absolutely beautiful, beautiful moment.
Well, you drove quite a ways to get there. Did you get a prize for that?
No, I did not drive that far away.
Really?
Yeah. It's
What state are you in? I assumed you were in New Orleans.
No, I've actually never been to New Orleans.
That's odd.
Well, but Arthur Conan Doyle wrote Sherlock Holmes without ever setting foot in London, so it worked for him.
Well, can't go wrong there.
Right? No, okay. I'm in South Carolina.
Well, you look very South Carolina. Is there a cat on your desk?
There's a cat that just decided to jump up on my lap. She's very very jealous, and she loves attention. This is Iris.
Iris.
Hi. And Iris is very demanding of attention, and I am surprised that it took her this long to actually get on camera, because usually when I'm in front of my laptop, she's right there with me.
I really don't have much use for cats because they don't obey.
I think we've had this conversation before, and I disagree.
Well, maybe you can get your cat to obey, but anyway, people love their cats. I love my dog, and my dog's kind of suffering right now. My wife's out of town, and so he doesn't have a companion, and he wants to be here with me, and he does hang out with me here in the studio during the day, but that's only during the day. I asked you this earlier when we were off the air, but I'll ask you for the public benefit.
Okay.
You went to Blue Ridge. Obviously, it was a great experience, but there's people out there that are, they just can't go to every conference that comes along, and Blue Ridge is quite a commitment. And but if you could only go to one conference in your lifetime, which one would you go to?
It would be Blue Ridge.
And you've been to others?
I've been to several others, mostly smaller ones.
Well, compared to Blue Ridge, they're all small.
Yes, yes, they are. I've been to very small, like, networking retreat conferences where there's been 12 people. Okay. I've been to out in California. I was at several different conferences where there was anywhere from 50 to 400 people. Blue Ridge is big. We had the biggest crowd we've ever had this year. But what I like about Blue Ridge is it's all encompassing. You get there, you stay there, and I know other conferences are like that, but some of them also will have you go to, if it's a 2 or a 3 day event, you stay off campus at a hotel. Well, at Blue Ridge, you're there on campus. So you are with these people. It's like immersion therapy for writers for 5 days straight. And you're living, breathing, eating, sleeping, writing. And it's not just writing, but it's all aspects of writing. You're rubbing elbows with publishers and agents and editors and new writers and veteran writers and writers who are organic, writers who are linear and want to write things out. So there's so much diversity that there's something for everyone. And even the brand new attendees have something to offer to the group around them. It's a very big community feel. And at no point, I've been going, I think this is my 8th year that I've been going, and I was on faculty this year, which was great. But at no point did I ever feel like I was less than a person because I do this or I haven't done that. Everybody's on the level playing field. We just bring different talents to the field.
Yeah, I remember growing up. I grew up or not grew up, but I have got a lot of family in Central Florida, and Disney came, and of course that was a big thing. It was, but I heard this, and I wonder if it's not somewhat true about Blue Ridge. Love to hear your comment. The problem with Disney, if you go, you can't possibly take it all in one trip.
Right, yeah. And yes and no. I mean, I'm from California, so Disneyland is different than Disney World. And yes, you can take most of Disneyland in on a trip if you're going for the length of time that you would spend at Blue Ridge. You could do almost all of Disneyland, but I'm pretty sure you could not do all of Disney World. So it is beneficial to repeat and keep going back. There's always going to be those veteran instructors and faculty who will come and people know them, but they'll teach different things each year. They'll teach different classes each year. There are certain themes that run year after year, but you'll have different faculty teaching it, or maybe they have an updated version of it. It's never the same experience twice.
It's like a Super Bowl. They keep playing it every year, and that just doesn't ever settle it, does it? They have to have another one.
Different teams, new players, exactly. But the rules are all the same. So, it's pretty much like that.
I was having a conversation today with a guest that we'll have actually Thursday night about the Kentucky Christian Writers Conference, which just finished. And it was not by design. It just worked out to be this year. and she'll explain more Thursday. It was all virtual. Blue Ridge last year, I guess, was virtual only, wasn't, or half and half.
They offered virtual, but it was also in person.
Okay, so what's your take on virtual conferences?
I've attended and been on faculty for virtual conferences, and I think they are just as informative and a wonderful experience. They offer a different type of community, but doing a virtual conference was a lot of fun. There was a morning where everybody's okay, we're just gonna, wear our PJs if you want and have your cup of coffee because we're all getting up that early. It's whatever anybody's comfortable with. There's different Zoom sessions where there breakout sessions where there could be anywhere from 5 to 20 to 30 people in this Zoom call for an hour. And it just runs the same as if you're in a classroom. Everybody will hold up your hand if you have a question, so not 10 people are talking at once.
Yeah.
But the
can be hard to
instruction
manage.
is the same.
Yeah, it can be hard to
little
manage.
bit.
Especially if you're kind of used to using Zoom at this point, to mute your mic, if you're not talking. But it's aggravating. I used to get so frustrated when this first started. Let's say, okay, we're going to start at, let's just say, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So everybody's there except 2 or 3 people are having problems getting connected. So the first 10 minutes of the meeting is the host trying to work out a technical problem with 1 or 2 people.
Right.
And it's like, just set sail, and if you missed it, you missed it, but don't tie up the rest of us, dealing with one person that's having a problem.
Yeah, so I haven't experienced that. I know, and one where I was on virtual faculty, we had a designated tech person, so they would say send your questions or emails to this, and then on the main login they would have that information, and then okay, once you're set up, now you can break out into which room you want to go to.
Well, 2 things. The technology has gotten better, but users,
thank goodness,
have gotten more acclimated. It was really the scenario I was thinking about was more typical of a conference call. We're still waiting on so-and-so. It's like, no, we start at 4. Don't waste my time because somebody else is running late. If I'm running late, leave. Do your thing. Don't wait on me. But I'm never late. Molly Jo, it's been a while since we've had you on our program, but you look a lot different. Your hair is different, and you're not wearing your glasses. It's not because you have contacts.
No, it's because I have a fun ring light behind my laptop now. I was blessed with a friend and somebody who is supportive of me getting back into doing the First in Fiction podcast later this year, gifted me this ring light. But when I put my glasses on, sometimes you can see the lovely reflection.
We can see your ring light now. Yeah, it's very nice.
So I went and got my hair cut off, and it took all the beautiful box red color with it. So this is my natural hair color. You
kind of grew up, right? You're
Oh God, why would you say that?
No particular reason.
No, I really miss my long, wild red hair, but it was a lot to manage, and I thought, okay, it started growing out, and I thought I'm just gonna see how long it'll take to grow out, and it took about 8 months, I think, to get everything grown out, to get where it's all, now that I've had it cut, that all the red is gone. And I'm going to be changing that, like, probably within the next month, go back to red. I just like the red hair.
All right. Well, when you get tired of that, we'll invite you back on the program. Okay.
Okay. Great. And then after that, I'll do blonde. Oh, hey, look! It's a picture of me and Heather.
Well, it's you and Heather. Tell us about Heather. But there's this furry critter.
Yeah. So the frog is Nippers, named after my self-publishing company, indie company, New Inklings Press. And he's a little Webkinz stuffed animal, and my daughter and I, when she was younger, we would collect those. And when she was in high school, she's cleaning out a room, and she said, okay, I have a bag of this stuff. So I said, well, is that frog a donation, a giveaway? Are we throwing him away or putting him in storage? And she goes, I don't know yet. So I said, okay, I'm taking him, and he became my mascot. So the very first Blue Ridge that I went to, I brought him with and was promoting New Inklings Press with the frog logo. And I would do these froggy photos where I'd just put the frog on people's shoulders and take pictures with it. And so he's become kind of well known over my shoulder here. And and what's interesting is when I say that, oh, I'm going to Blue Ridge this year, I can't wait to go to Blue Ridge, the first questions I'm always asked is, are you bringing the frog? It's not even, I mean, some people will say, yay, I'm glad, I can't wait to see you. But the first actual question is, are you bringing the frog? So
that's your brand.
That's my brand.
So is that incorporated in, I don't have your logo. Why don't you just make that part of your logo?
I do have a frog in my New Inklings Press has a frog on an ink bottle. That is our imprint. So
I used to go frog gigging all the time. You know, they loved sitting around on ink bottles and
right, absolutely.
Do you know how frogs eat mosquitoes? That's what I like about them, because here in Florida we have mosquitoes that are the size of pigeons.
I've heard.
So frogs are good.
Yes.
But how does a bullfrog drink? They got this tongue that's like, that long.
Okay.
How does a bullfrog drink?
I don't know, Mark. How does a bullfrog drink?
They actually get in the water. They drink through their skin.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought you were setting me up for a joke.
No, this is a biological fact.
Okay.
But bullfrogs are just they're very popular.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I like the noises. There's a pond about 50 feet away from my apartments, and in the summer I can hear the frogs.
Yeah.
So
then in Florida we don't call them ponds, we call them mosquito farms.
Oh, okay. I can see that.
It takes a mosquito 21 days to hatch, basically, and the larvae live underwater, and they literally, to breathe, they stick their butt up through the top of the water, and that's how they get air.
Interesting.
So the way back in the day, I'm sure this no longer happens, but if you had a pond, of course, the idea is if you kill the larva, you'll kill the mosquitoes that are hatching later. So we would take diesel fuel and dump it in the pond, and that diesel fuel increases the surface tension. They can't breathe. They suffocate.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
You probably might have killed a few other things in the ecosystem with that.
Well, it only takes a little bit, and it floats, so it doesn't kill the fish. So you say. Well, we used to go fishing there all the time.
Fish killer.
Yeah. Yeah, we killed fish.
You're a fish killer and a bug killer. Bug killer I can get behind, but
we used to shoot fish. It's illegal, but we'd shoot them. We'd take a 30-06, man. Just blow up. Anyway, okay.
I want to thank you for admitting to criminal acts here live on TV.
we used to shoot frogs at night, which is illegal. You can shoot frogs in the day legally, but not at night.
You got to not talk like that in front of the frog.
Oh, that's right. Well, you've had frog legs, haven't you?
Yeah.
They're really good.
Yeah, I've had frog legs. I've had fried alligator.
Yeah. Now, I don't get them at the restaurant. A good frog leg has to be fresh, So we go frog gigging and then put them in the skillet at the camp. Yeah, I mean, they were so fresh, the first of kin hadn't been notified of their death yet. All right, we only got a couple of minutes. We've had a lot of fun. Tell us, you do have a book, and tell us more about this upcoming podcast thing you're talking about.
Aaron Gansky is a friend of mine. He was my writing mentor for when I was first writing NOLA, and he was the host and creator of First in Fiction podcast. And I became the producer of that podcast a few years ago. Once I left California, he wasn't doing it. We couldn't coordinate with the time change. And about 2 years ago, he handed it over to me and said, here, run with it. I haven't done anything with it since then. But I'm gearing up to get it restarted, basically a First in Fiction 2.0. So I'm looking for a good format to do it. I don't know yet if I want to do live or just audio. I know a lot of people are doing just audio podcasts now that they're uploading to different vendors, or if you will. So I haven't quite figured that out, but it is going to maintain the integrity of basically helping people learn how to write fantastic fiction.
Okay. All right. Well, Molly Jo Realy. And now when that happens, we're talking about monthly, weekly, what's the schedule?
Probably every other week.
Every other week. So I had two guests. I had two guesses. I needed three.
You needed three, yeah.
Yeah, but you nailed it. Molly Jo, hey, it's great to have you back again. And thanks for sharing your experience. So many people would like to go that aren't able to. And maybe by hearing your experiences there, they will be encouraged to maybe start making their plans.
I certainly hope so. It's just such a wonderful experience to be at any conference, but Blue Ridge is really, in my opinion, the best one.
I forgot to put your website up there. I'll put it up there now, mollyjoreally.com. We can't do everything in 20 minutes. If you want to know more, go there and connect with Molly Jo there. Molly Jo, thanks for sharing your stories and your experience and all that. Great to have you back, and hopefully we can do this again soon.
Looking forward to it.
All right. Molly Jo Realy. That is one of the names that she goes by. And appreciate her sharing her experiences from the Blue Ridge Mountain Christian Writers Conference. That's a mouthful, isn't it? Okay, folks, we're not done. Del Didway is coming our way. In just a few minutes, I've got to get things ready. And until then, or while I'm doing that, there's an assignment I'd like you to take on. Here it is. 2 questions. They're easy, or are they? First question. What is the boldest thing that you have ever done for Jesus Christ? Second question. When was that? The challenge is to never be satisfied with either answer.